Okay. Welcome, SC. Great to meet you, if albeit remotely. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what you like to invest in.
Yes, absolutely. So I am the founder and the managing partner of Mighty Capital. And Mighty Capital, we're a venture capital firm. We invest at Series A stage in companies based in the US, mostly in technology, some life sciences, and a good amount of fintech.
Right.
And what really sets us apart is that we give our portfolio companies access to over 300,000 product managers. And they use that, of course, they can hire them, but they also use that to accelerate their go to market as basically a massive pool of potential prospects. And then they also use that to sell their companies.
Well, that's fantastic that that you give them access to that because I know that would be a key point for most startups, correct? Product
Yes, it's
management.
super important. And what
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
finding is that a lot of startups now, when they sell to Fortune 5000, they actually have to sell to somebody in product management, whether it's a product
Oh,
manager or a director of product or a VP of product. If the product management function is not a buyer, they're a key influencer in the decision. So, and it's been accelerating with COVID, where basically, everything is digital now. So product management is a key function in Fortune 5000 companies.
well, really good thinking on your part. I've always thought that it would be helpful for startups to also have access to some sort of sales expertise because often that's not their expertise. So, how do you cover that?
Yeah, so we actually not only give them access to that audience, but
Yeah.
we also give them a playbook to turn that audience into a go to market channel. So we
Wow.
help them with a lot of different digital marketing, different consultative sales approaches to help them be successful when they're selling to product managers.
Fantastic. So tell me some of the types of companies that you have invested in the past,
Pimo,
your
I want
portfolio.
to, yeah, I want to pause just a second because
Sure.
on the Zencaster, I see you. Like when you talk, I see I see you, but I don't see me. So,
Yes, I can see your wavelength, so no
okay, you see
problems.
me. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So I'll just ignore that.
Okay.
Excellent. So you asked about companies that we've invested in.
Yes.
So in our portfolio, we have a lot of awesome companies. Some of them you will have heard about, like Airbnb and DigitalOcean and Amplitude, because they all went public in the last 12 months in 2021.
Wow,
Others,
congratulations.
thank you. It's been a great year for us. And
Yeah.
then others, they are on their way there, like Acern, like Safe Trust, like Bid Discovery, Sorcero, and all of these companies, they're really enabling what we call the age of product. So they're basically leveraging the power of product to increase revenue, decrease cost, improve productivity for their customers.
Fantastic. I don't know if you know, but many years ago when I first came to Silicon Valley, I did a project for a year on why women are funded less than men. So great to speak to another female investor. And I wondered how many women do you get, female startups coming to you?
Yeah, so that's another part of our portfolio that we're very proud of
Oh,
is
good.
our diversity and inclusion. About a third of the companies we fund are led by women and or minorities. And
Wow.
it's not like yeah, I know. It's not like we set up to have any sort of, diversity angle where we specifically want to invest in, women and minority.
Yeah.
No, what we do is we say actions speak louder than words. So we rarely talk about diversity, but we are by nature, you'll see if you go on our website, we have diversity in the general partnership, age, gender, race, nationality, religion. And so because we are a very diverse team, we have created an amazingly diverse and inclusive portfolio.
Fantastic. So, where do you think things are headed now? Obviously, it's been a couple of rocky years, just generally, for the whole world. What's your perspective on where things are going as far as startups and investing?
Yes, absolutely. So we think it's really the dawn of what we call the age of product. I was
Okay.
mentioning to you that with digital transformations, with COVID, digital transformations have accelerated by like 7 years or more, according to McKinsey. So the
Wow.
consequence of that, yes, it's incredible. The consequence of that is that Fortune 5000, they have to, work with their customers through their digital product. And so product is becoming like a massively important function in larger organizations, and it's becoming a strategic function. So I mentioned, product is already making an impact in like driving revenue growth, reducing cost, improving productivity. But the
Yeah.
other thing that we notice is just like, 10, 15 years ago, we saw the emergence of a new function in Fortune 5000 companies like marketing. We saw CMOs and everybody was like, what are these chief marketing officers doing? Like they publish like TV ads, like what are they really doing? But
Yeah.
today, they're one of the most powerful executives in the C-suite. And we see exactly the same thing happening with
Really?
chief product officers. The
Okay.
CMOs today have more budget than chief information officers. And we
Well,
think the same thing's going to happen with chief product officers.
oh, interesting. Well, I mean, I would consider the chief product officers more important, but I do know, after all the years of being in the Valley, that many startups, when they get funded, the first thing they seem to do is either go to a marketing firm or employ marketing people. So, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, you and me both. Like, I think product is absolutely the most important thing
Yeah,
at a startup company because it's what sets them apart and differentiates them. And I
yeah,
think product is still relatively misunderstood. Just like I was saying, chief marketing officers, now everybody says, of course, you need a chief marketing officer. But 10 years ago, it wasn't the case. So right now, people say, do you really need a chief product officer? I guarantee you in 5, 10 years, everybody will have a chief product officer. And another way to look at it is to look at the number of tools that are part of the product stack and compare that to the number of tools that are part of the marketing stack. If you look at marketing stack today, there's about 10,000 tools. 7 years ago, there were 2,000. Today, there are 2,000 tools in the product stack. So,
right,
and it's growing really, really fast.
right. So, what advice would you give any budding entrepreneur at the moment? As to how to move forward and get funded.
Yeah, so a couple of things. One is if you're building tools that make digital transformation possible or accelerate digital transformation, you're in the eye of the tornado. You're right
Yeah,
where every Fortune 5000 wants to invest money, right? So
yeah,
you're in the right place. If you're not, like, consider getting there.
right.
So if
And
you are, you're pretty much like, our portfolio company Amplitude just went public,
okay,
and Spencer started it like less than 10 years ago. And he just stuck with it for long enough that he became basically the best in the market. And if you have that kind of resilience, and if you
right.
stuck in a market that's in explosion, like, the age of product, these digital transformations, with resilience, with grit, with, the right culture, um, the right approach, you're going to be successful. And there's nothing like success to attract investors' money. I
And
often describe,
and also
sorry,
attracts more success as well.
that's right, that's right.
It's a snowball effect.
Money follows success. It's not the other
Yeah,
way around.
yeah,
Um,
you're actually right. Yep.
yes, one thing I often tell entrepreneurs is I tell them, look at a balance sheet. What's the defining um, uh, uh, characteristics of a balance sheet? It's that, assets equal equity in a startup company. You don't have liabilities, you have just equity. Right?
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
grow your assets, you're going to grow your equity. If you grow your equity, you're going to make your investors happy because they're going to get richer. So the
Yeah.
way you grow your equity and you make your investors happy and you get more funding is by growing your assets. And the way you grow
Right.
your assets is with cash, account receivable, basically with revenue, right? So more customers equals happier investors. It's really that simple.
Fantastic. That's great advice. I notice also not just the digital explosion that's happened out of the crisis, but also a lot more focus on climate change and how to do things better in that domain with nature. Do you have any comments or observations about that as well, and how
Yes,
that's going?
yes, I think it's really important. And I think we're still trying to figure things out in that department, out there as a civilization, as a society.
Yeah.
Mighty Capital, we invest at Series A stage. So it's sort of, the way I see climate change is the way I saw blockchain like 3 to 5 years ago. It was, really, really interesting, but just a little bit early for Mighty Capital. Today,
Right.
blockchain is a perfect stage for Mighty Capital at that Series A stage where companies have developed really solid technologies, have some beginning of product market fit. They're ready for growth. I see that for
Fabulous.
climate change in like 2, 3 years down the road.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that's good news for all the entrepreneurs that are involved in climate change
Mhm.
issues. And I was wondering, I always like to ask investors if they have a funny or an unusual story to tell from their history, from their past. Do you have anything that you could offer today?
So my husband would say, absolutely not. I'm like the least funny person. And maybe that's what's funny about me.
But nothing's happened to you as regards entrepreneurs or someone, saying something or doing something that's really crazy. I know Silicon Valley is full of those sort of stories, so I just wondered.
Yes, no, of course. Of course, I have some funny stories. I can tell you, a lesson I learned with some entrepreneurs who are full of ambitions and really early in their journey say, "Hey, I see, I know you talk about, how generating revenue make investors happy, but the truth is, 3 months ago, I was early in my journey. I didn't have revenue. So I should have come to you 3 months ago because then I wouldn't have had to measure myself against, revenue growth and targets." And I thought that was like just a great way to communicate, so much passion
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so much potential.
yeah, great. Fantastic. Look, such a delight to finally get to talk to you, SC, and I really appreciate your time today.
Same here. Thank you so much for reaching out. And it was great to be on the show.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully you'll come again.
I'd love to.
Thank you so much. Okay.